adjustments there. Joining me now, Republican Congressman from Illinois, Adam Kinzinger, is on the Foreign Affairs Committee, as well as being a former Air Force pilot and current major in the National Guard. Great to have you with us tonight.
Thanks. Good to be with you.
All right. What do you make of this, the European concerns that they have? I want to read you something from the French foreign finance minister saying this. Do we want the U.S. to be the economic policeman of the planet, or do we want us Europeans to say that we have an economic interest and we want to have economic relations with Iran inside the framework of a strategic deal with Iran, which includes Iran's renouncing to nuclear weapons? That's our translation of what he had to say. But the question there remains, if the U.S. is going to sanction anyone doing business with Iran, what does that do with regard to the EU?
Well, I think it makes it clear to the EU that they're going to have to get back on board with sanctions. I mean, the reality is you can make a choice. You're either going to do business with the largest economy in the world, or you're going to do business with Iran, who, by the way, is actually doing very bad actions around the Middle East. And so I get it. You know, the Europeans are upset. They've never really wants to take leads on foreign policy issues like this because they get very self-interested in economics. But America's different. We understand that we have a mission in this world and that we have some real broad things we need to achieve. And one of those is peace for Israel, more stabilization in the Middle East, and ensuring that Iran never actually gets a nuclear weapon ever versus just for the next 10 years.
What do you make of the efforts by the Trump administration to cultivate those relationships with the Gulf states, with Arabs and their interest in the region, while also looking out for Israel as our #1 ally there, but building those bridges that maybe have not been so strong in the past?
Yeah, it's actually pretty amazing. I mean, there's still a little conflict with Qatar and their neighbors there, but if you look at this alignment of kind of Sunni interest, the Saudis with even Israel, and now how they're talking, and now they're actually flying between the countries because they understand that they have differences, of course, but their major differences are with Iran. And it's not because they just don't like the name Iran. It's not because they don't like the Iranian people. The Iranian people are great, but it's because the leadership is dead set on destabilization of the region and destroying any peace that exists there. And we've seen it with 150,000 rockets pointed at Israel. So this is something that everybody is kind of uniquely coming into alignment on to say it's time to confront these people who frankly call Israel Little Satan and the United States Great Satan.
And for now, it looks like there's a bit of a cooling off there as both Iran and Israel and their leaders are saying they don't want this to escalate, but Israel being very clear they will not take any crossing of the red line when it comes to their existence and their safety there in the region, as Iran continues to build up a presence in Syria, taking advantage of that civil war. Let's go to a different part of the globe, though, and talk about North Korea as well. A lot of action on that front over the last week or so, really several weeks, but this week obviously getting the 3 American hostages back and many other conversations continuing. Today, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo saying, don't want North Korea to be an enemy. We want them to be a close partner, and we think we can achieve that. But the State Department obviously saying we have a lot of caution going into this meeting between the president and Kim Jong-un. Here's Heather Nauert from the State Department.
Look, we are realistic and clear-eyed about this, but it doesn't mean that we aren't going to make every effort and every attempt to fulfill President Trump's policy of denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. We're a long way from that, but we're certainly going to make all of our efforts.
Want to get your quick take on moving into those negotiations now?
So I think Secretary Pompeo is saying the right thing, which is, look, we're serious about this. Now, if you come to the table and you completely, permanently, and forever denuclearize, there's going to be some economic benefit for you. There has to be carrots with the sticks. But I think this administration is very clear, and I think Kim Jong-un needs to know, and probably does, this is the height of diplomacy. If this fails, if he doesn't agree to it, I hate to see what comes next.
Congressman Adam Kinzinger, always great to have you with us.